Competition underrated me, yeah. Started from bottom, they rated me last. I don't really know if they taking me ass. Fill his face up with hoes like a Jason and man. Squad and official, I stay with my niggas. Free the fellas, I just pray for my niggas. Middle fit.
What's up? What's up? What's poppin'? It's Snake Dog 916 coming at you live from Sacramento, man. Hey, make sure you hit that like, that subscribe, and that notification bell, and make sure you go in the contents below if you want to see more of this fire content, or if you want some specific stuff you want to see, hit it. First of all, I'd like to thank all my followers who heard me yesterday on my live and hit up some cats out in New York, man, and let them know that I was trying to get some interviews because I got tapped in with the brother that I'm about to interview right now. And we'll get into that later, man. But first and foremost, man, what they call you? Where you from, brother?
My name is Fred, man. I go by Fred White, man. I'm from Queens, New York.
Queens, New York.
Yeah,
Queens,
yeah.
New York, man.
I'm out here in New York, man. It's a pleasure to get up with you, man. You know,
Yeah.
a few people hit my line and it was like, you know, you got to get with Nate Dogg, man. You know, he's looking for somebody who wanted to speak a little bit about Rikers and things like that.
Yeah.
You know, and a few people hit my line. That's why I hit you in, you know.
Yeah, I appreciate it. First of all, let me
pleasure.
say I appreciate you coming on, man. I appreciate you hitting my line.
Well,
Like I said, I appreciate the supporters that hit Fred up and let him know that I was trying to lock in with something. Get this West Coast, East Coast shit popping, man. But I mean, let's get into it, man, like we always do, man. Tell me a little bit about how it was growing up in New York, man. What's going on? How'd you come up?
Well, you know, I grew up in Queens, man, lived most of my life out there, man. And I was just, you know, I was just one of those kids, man, you know, I was type rebellious, you know what I mean? I was always one of those kids that used to sit way in the back of the classroom and just cause trouble.
Yes,
You know what I
sir.
mean? I was one of those kids, like, more or less like the class clown, you know what I mean?
Right.
And I was just always one of those kids, attention-seeking kids, and just, you know,
Okay.
and the teacher turned her back, I'm trying to throw stuff at them, you know what I'm saying? I was just,
Right.
I've always just been one of those kids. I've always been labeled, like, growing up, I've always been labeled more or less a troublemaker, man, you know?
Okay. So before
Yeah.
we get into that part, like, did you have like the regular household,
Now
the two parents and
my mom and my pop, they, you know, they split when I was a baby. You know, I had a step
Okay.
pops in my life. He was good people, but you know, at the end of the day, step parents are step parents, and they really couldn't, you know.
right,
You
hold
know
you
what I
down.
mean? It wasn't my pops. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. Yes,
It
sir.
was my dad. So, you know, my mom tried hard, man. You know, my mom was a strict. She, you know, she was very strict. Yes, salute. Rest
Salute
in
to the single mamas, man. Salute to
Yeah,
the single mamas. Rest
I
in
lost
peace.
her last year, man. Rest in peace to my mom. So, you know, she tried really hard, man. You know what I mean? And she was just really strict. And I just was one of those kids, even from early age, man. Like, I ain't like to play by the rules. You know?
Right.
This
I'm with
is, you know, this is why I know we're gonna get into it later, but this is why I do what I do. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
we can relate to some of these kids out here that's, you know,
Yes,
bugging
sir.
out. Yeah. So I was always one of those kids, you know, always get suspended from school.
Okay.
And I was one of those kids, like for a lot of parents or whatever, when they say, you know, I'm sure when you was growing up, man, your people told you, man, stay away from X, Y, or Z.
Yeah, I was him.
Okay.
I was the one they stayed away from.
No, okay. So,
Yeah.
yeah. That's what I'm trying to say, so we can relate. So I was
Right.
X, Y, and Z. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I was,
You was all and above.
yes.
Right.
So, you know, basically, I just, you know, I started getting arrested at like 14, man. I got arrested at 14,
Okay.
attempt murder. I got
Attempt
arrested
murder.
at attempt
So
murder.
you got attempted murder at 14 years old.
14, yeah.
Ooh.
And I got arrested at 15 for the same thing,
Mm.
16 for the same thing, and by 17, I was in prison for felony murder. So,
Okay.
you know, it's just an elevation for me, you know what I mean? A lot of people would have said it was my destiny. A lot of people, a lot of teachers, a lot of counselors, a lot of people like that told my moms from the beginning, that boy gonna be dead or in jail by the time he's 16. And, you know, I made them profits pretty much, you know?
Right.
So, you know, yeah.
Okay, let's go back a little bit to 14. You say you caught attempt murder at 14.
Yeah.
Can you share a little bit of that with us, or how that went down, or you rather not?
That one, yeah. I mean, I could talk a little bit about some of them. Some people still out here. I don't catch no
Okay,
feelings. But
I ain't trying to kick off no dust. Yeah.
Nah, that one was just like something. Somebody was just walking. We were just walking down the street, bumped into each other, and you know.
Okay, just some street shit, just some straight street shit.
Like he bumped me, you know, he bumped me.
Okay.
That was it. It was nothing crazy. It was nothing. It was just like, yo, what are you doing? What are you doing? Hold this, you know? And yeah, Yeah, I caught that. You know, and they gave me what was called a second chance program,
Okay.
which pretty much was nothing. You know what I mean? Then on the next one, they gave me pretty much the same thing, and then on the next one, they gave me probation. That's when it really started to get
So on
serious.
your third attempt, you got probation.
On the third one, yeah,
Woo!
third one, for
Yeah.
sure.
Okay,
And
we
then,
got a live one.
yeah, and then by 17, again, I was in prison for felony murder, man. They saying, a little bit about that is basically I ran the streets. Like it was, back then in New York, it was no really like, your gang was the people that you grew up with. You understand what I'm saying? Your hood was your gang. There was nothing like out here back then. It wasn't Bloods, it wasn't Crips, it wasn't Latin King, it wasn't Yenta, it was none of that. It was just the people you grew up with. That's your area. That's your people.
Right.
You understand?
Your block.
Your blocks. So you got labeled the gang more or less. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's how it was out here. And one night, we were heavy into graffiti back in those days, right? And so we would tag it. Yeah. So we would go in other people's neighborhoods, tag. They come over here, tag, and we would just go back and forth. It was a regular occurrence, man. We would be in their neighborhood doing what we do, and if we get caught, things happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so pretty much every day we were going back and forth, warring with other little crews back then. You know what I mean? And one day, man, we went out there. We stole a certain Queens rapper's Jeep. I ain't gonna, you know what I mean? We ain't gonna say no names right now. You know what I'm saying? But we took his Jeep basically. Right. And I actually had it for a few weeks, man, like it was mine, man. Like I was actually pulling because back then they had a car phone in it. And back then when you had a car phone in your car, you was the shit.
Man, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I was actually even like pulling up at lights, you know what I'm saying, with the car phone that I even know how to use on me. Like,
yes, sir.
Pulling up like, yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's clout.
Yeah, you know what I mean? This is the life I was living, man. You know what I mean? I'm not proud of it. You know, I can laugh and smile about it now, yes, sir. Right? Because it was what it was, and I am who I am now. But, back then, so one night we went into enemy's, territory. We turned the lights down. I was driving. We turned the lights real low. We seen them on the corner, turned the lights off, tried to creep on them. By the time they saw us, though, they start running down the block, okay? Right. So, a couple of my boys jumped out the car, started chasing these kids. One of these kids basically ran in the street and got hit by a driver. I ain't shoot nobody. I ain't stab nobody. Right. On this one, you know what I'm saying? This one, he ran in the street and got hit by a drunk driver, man. And that's what I did almost 16 years in New York State Penitentiary for.
Wait. So they charged you for felony murder? Felony
murder because they say that we tried to rob him, and during the course of the robbery, something else happened, and that's how the law works in New York. When you're, like you try to do a robbery or you try to do something else, like you could, I know people who snatched old ladies' pocketbooks and just tried to run. The old lady fell, hit her head on the floor. Guess what? You got a felony murder charge. You might not have meant to do that, but that's how it works. Because during the course of one crime, murder happens or somebody dies, that's the law here. It's called felony murder. You know what I mean? I don't know how it is out there, but that's how it is.
Yeah. I mean, you got stuff that happens in the commission of a crime, but that's big right there, though.
Right. Yeah. So felony murder, and that's what I got put away for, man. And I originally had, I beat felony murder charges. I went to trial, and I beat felony murder charges because we never tried to rob that kid. This was just what it was. It happened. Things happen. But again, when you live in that certain lifestyle, you know what I mean? This is the stuff that comes with it. That bad karma. For sure. You with me? So, I beat felony murder charges. I blew the manslaughter and the stolen Jeep. So they gave me 5 to 15 and 2 1/3 to 7. And they ran it consecutive. Usually they'll run shit concurrent. Right. The big one will eat the little one, and I would have just did 5 to 15. Now this judge wasn't really having that. He ran it consecutive. So he gave me 5 to 15 and 2 1/3 to 7. So altogether I had 7 1/3 to 22. But once you're in that state, once you're in the state system, you already know. Like it's hard to count, man. Yeah. And I ended up doing almost 16 years off of that. You know what I'm saying? So, this is why I do what I do, man. This is why,
So you get convicted, you get found guilty. All right. Yes. So, like, while you going to court, like I'm not too familiar with the court system and the jail system out there. Are you in the island while you going to court?
Oh yeah, I'm on Rikers Island. I was on Rikers Island damn near almost 3 years before I went to trial.
Oh yeah, I gotta know about this
Yeah,
place.
oh man,
I've been hearing about this place.
Let me tell you something, man. And this goes off with all these young boys out here, especially in New York, you know, dealing with Rikers Island or just all over the place, man. You know what I mean? Because a lot of these dudes too, a lot of these dudes is coming home, man, and they glorifying their experience, man.
Yeah.
They're glorifying what they doing. They talking about all the people they cut, all the people they stab. That's not helping anybody, man. You're not helping.
Not at all.
So, you know, like the stories I'm about to tell, like this is for the next generation so they understand, man. Yeah. You know, when you go through Rikers Island, man, I need everybody to be clear about this. It's a jungle, man. It's a world within a world, and it's a whole different environment. Like I thought going through Rikers Island, it was like I was gonna, you know, be a tough guy. You know what I'm saying? From the streets, this is the way it was, man. But let me tell you something, man. I didn't realize what tough was until I got there. Because let me tell you, I realized it was real when the judge said remand, okay?
Yeah.
When I was in that court for that arraignment, felony murder, and they said remand, I looked around to my people and I was like, remand, what the fuck? I went back to the holding cell and there was about 20, 30 dudes in the cell. I'm like, yo, I just got remanded. They're like, you coming with us. I'm like, coming with you where? They like, you coming to the island with us, right? So, okay. So now we all get shackled, you know what I mean? You get shackled together, hands, feet, everything is shackled, and you go on these buses, okay? Right. Now, the bus is kind of a little bit rowdy, but as soon as it gets near Rikers Island, what happens is there's a bridge, bro. It separates Queens from actual Rikers Island. It's a small bridge, okay? But as soon as you coming across that bridge, everybody's quiet. You can hear a pin drop in that bus. Because everybody know it's about to be real, okay? And being I was young, they sent me to what was called C-74. Now, on Rikers Island, it was made up of 9, 10 different little jails.
Okay.
But all adolescents from 16 to 18, you only go to one spot. It's called C-74. You know what I'm saying? If you ever heard the Kool G Rap song, you know what I'm saying? You won't be smiling on Rikers Island. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
C-74, adolescents at war. Back in the days, Kool G Rap thing, it was for real. So only people from 16 to 18 go to Rikers Island. And, you know, I know you know from your experience, man, the young kids, you know, them young kids, they don't think about the consequences. So it's a little more wild. Like them dudes don't really care. You understand what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
So when I first went through there, man, it was crazy. So you go in and you go in like a little reception and they have what's called bullpens, right? You know, the bullpens. Each one, like if you from Queens, you went in one pen. If you from Brooklyn, you went in the 2 pen. If you was from Bronx, you went into the 3 pen. Like that's how it goes. So everybody was coming, you know what I'm saying? So we all came from Queens Court. So we all went in 1 pen like that.
Right.
And then, you know, that's where they give you your mattress, your cup, your toothbrush, you know, whatever you're gonna have right there. That's the way what you're gonna have. Okay. And then what happens is when you go into these bullpens, bro, these bullpens are like maybe 10 by 20 or something like that, and they got like 40, 50 dudes in there, man.
Packed in like sardines.
Packed in like sardines with one toilet, and it's open, the toilet. It's not even like you can close a door. You can. And sometimes you in that bullpen for days, man. For days. That's a fact. And dudes is in there getting robbed. Like if you had like brand new sneakers, if you had brand new shit, you know what I'm saying? Like dudes was in there getting robbed. So my first housing unit, I went into Mod 8. Those are like modulars, okay? And like my stay there, I seen the dude walk up to one of the new dudes too, smacked the shit out of him. Bam! Just the dude was sitting on his bed. Dude just walked up to him and smacked him and told him, "You gonna be making my bed every day." This is what he said. So I was like, oh shit. Then that same dude that was smacking, he went to this other kid. He asked him, "Yo, what size you wear? What size are those shoes, man?" You know what I'm saying? And ended up taking the kid's shoes. Now, I learned over time when somebody comes up to you and they say, what size you wear, you got to look him dead in his face and say your size. You understand what I'm saying? But when you knew, you know, when you knew, you don't really know all of this shit. You know what I'm saying? So that's when I realized it was real. Like, dude, you know, he walked up to dude, just smacked him and said, "Yo, go make my bed." Like, I was like, oh, shit. You know what I'm saying? All that gangster shit when I was like, oh shit.
Right out the window. All the tough shit is gone.
And then you know what? Over time I developed, to be honest with you, I developed a certain personality. I developed a certain thing because you understand what you understand what you have to do for survival in there.
Yeah, you either eating or you food, man.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So, you know what I'm saying? So 16, 17, 18, I'm learning all of these different things. And this, to be honest with you, man, this is still with me now because it's like it's hard to shake. You know what I mean? Like you could be out however long it's been, you know for yourself, man, it's still hard to shake certain things.
Oh yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Like
certain
respect,
looks, certain attitudes,
looks, anything.
Yeah,
like I say, somebody step on your shoes and don't say sorry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's somebody, you hold a door for somebody, bro, and they just walk through and don't say thank you.
Yeah. Just certain signs of respect. Like
certain signs of respect, because in there you have to have respect, man. You know what I mean? And Rikers Island was crazy. Rikers Island was I mean, it was gladiator school, man. Real shit. Like everybody had razors. Everybody.
Okay, so, Yeah. Okay. So okay. Like I said, I'm from California, man. I don't really know nothing. I don't really know nobody from New York. I ain't never really intermingled with nobody from New York.
Okay.
So my mind was always, honestly, I thought Rikers Island was prison. That's what I thought. No. So, but now what I'm getting is like we got something out here called the Branch, right? And the Branch is like a big old facility with a whole bunch of different sides where people wait to go to court and wait to go to prison. You know what I mean? That's basically what that is. So is that basically what Rikers Island is?
That is exactly. That is Rikers Island in a nutshell. Nobody's there is really sentenced. You know what I'm saying? They have one building called C-76. If you get sentenced to less than a year, less than a 1 to 3, you go to C-76.
Okay, so this is the
like
same
Lil
thing.
Lil Wayne had 8 months.
Yeah.
He went to C-76. That's a whole different
so
building.
He never got shipped to a prison.
No.
Okay.
He went to one of the 9, 10 little spots on Rikers Island. You know what I'm saying? There's like 9, 10 jails that actually make up Rikers Island.
Okay.
He went to C-76 because he only had 8 months. That's where everybody goes.
He did his stuff county time.
County, that's what it is. 1000%. So Rikers Island is just for dudes who are fighting their case.
Okay. So once you're sentenced.
Some dudes is on Rikers Island 2, 3, 4, 5 years, depending on what your case is. You with me?
All right.
So
makes
once
more
you
sense.
go upstate, once you get sentenced, now about 2 weeks later you go upstate. We get into that a little while.
Okay, so you say people is walking around with like razors and they, razors armed up and all that.
I brought a little exhibit for you. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
Okay.
So these right here, can you see it well?
Yeah, I can see it. It look like a regular razor. Yeah.
We call these New Yorkers in there. Okay.
Oh, okay.
This is what they, if you have a New Yorker, this is just the way they called it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you New Yorker, here it is. And most people, like I demonstrated on my channel, most people just walk around with this in their mouth. You know, it's gone. And then what happens is it never rang through the metal detector. It's still there. It never rang through the metal detector. So you can walk through a metal detector and it was fine. Bomb. You know what I'm saying? There it was the whole time. It was always there. What happens is there's sometimes if you do ring for something else, they throw you on the wall. You can, they'll never find it. It's been up in there the whole time. But you got to be a vet at that. So if anybody's out there watching and never done it before, please don't. Please don't.
Yeah. I'm glad you did that. I'm glad you did that, man, because I've heard about that, right? About out there, how cats will walk around with a razor in their mouth, man.
Yeah.
Like,
and I'm going to be honest with you. You know what I mean? I'm going to be honest with you. When I first, shout out to my man, Alex, LG, you know what I mean? So he taught me that. He was like, yo, he's up north. He's up north for like 35 years. But he taught me that, this is where you got to keep it so that when you go through the metal detector, it won't ring. And I never understood it, but I did it. But what happened is, I stopped doing that after a while because I seen this kid. He wasn't expecting it.
Yeah. Okay?
And he got knocked out and basically swallowed the blade.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So they had to do all this type surgeries and all this. I seen him have his, all types of scars and everything because, that shit tore his ass up. After that, I realized maybe this is not the best option. But when you young and dumb, this is how everybody does. And they spit out the razor. And you know what I mean? Right away, you could be talking to somebody, you wouldn't even know. It'd be quick, like boom, and they just drape you. Right?
Yeah.
This is the lessons that was learned. This is the lessons that's going on Rikers Island. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Yes,
and the Rikers Island also, the police don't play fair. Well, the police don't play fair up north, though. But on Rikers Island, And you would think it would be a little bit more, because all the police is from the boroughs.
Okay.
When you go upstate, all the police is from them upstate towns.
Oh, okay.
Really, some hit towns.
In Rikers Island, this the cats that is right there in the borough with you. They just work there.
They work there, right? They from Brooklyn, they from Queens, they from Bronx, they from the boroughs. You understand? Right. If you got knocked in Long Island has their own jails. Okay. They don't come to Rikers Island. You know what I'm saying? Long Island's part of New York, as you know, but it's a whole different entity. They get sent somewhere else. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Okay. But so the police there, like if there was a riot or something like that,
right?
They used to. You still there? Oh, I see. Yeah. Okay. So when there was a riot or something like that, the turtles will come through. That's what we called them out there. I don't know what y'all called them out there. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
But the turtles. Who?
The Goon Squad.
Goon Squad. Okay, riot
come
squad.
Up with their armor and stuff on the riot squad.
You come and because they reminded everybody of the Ninja Turtles.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. That's the squad. Yeah, we call that the squad out here, the Goon Squad.
Okay, we called them. You know what I'm saying? The turtles. And when the turtles come through, it's get down, or you know what I'm saying? Get down, lay down for real.
Get down and lay down. Yeah, for sure.
100%. They coming through, and they,
you a threat for sure.
They beating you the fuck up. So if you ain't got nothing to do with whatever's going on, just get the fuck out the way. Right, but a lot of times, homie, you don't really want to get down because you still might be with somebody, doing whatever you doing.
Oh yeah.
And they talking about lay down. You ain't trying to lay down. You might get stabbed in your neck.
Oh yeah, that's a rule we had. Like if you working, then you just keep working till they make you stop.
Yeah, make them. The motto is make them do their job. You know what I mean? That's their job. Their job is to come through. If you're involved in that, then that's what they're gonna have to do.
Yeah. Because just like you said, if you stop, then Brad gonna do whatever he want to do to you.
That's it. You know what I mean? And it's the same concept out here. It's just a little bit different. You know what I mean?
Okay. So how long did you stay there at the island fighting that specific case?
Almost 3 years.
Ooh, 3 years. I went on trial. Years old.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. So I went to I ended up in a few different places. You know what I'm saying? And then
But you talking about after the 3 years?
Yeah, no. Yeah, well, when I was close to trial, I actually went to what was called the Queens House.
Okay.
Which is a borough jail inside of Queens. Okay.
Oh, okay. So they took you back to Queens.
Into Queens, right. Rikers Island is in Queens too, but that's a whole separate entity. But because I was going to trial, the judge ordered a thing where like I was pretty much in the same building as the trial, so I could be produced early in the morning. Because the court process from Rikers Island is you up at 5:30 in the morning. They take you to the bullpen, like they give you a little breakfast, little bullshit breakfast, and then they chain you and cuff you. Then they bring you to the courthouse. Then from the courthouse, they gotta unshackle you, do all this crazy stuff where sometimes you're not even produced for court. You know what I mean? And the judge wants to know where the hell you at.
Right. Absolutely.
So they moved me to the Queens House, and I ended up getting into something there. You know what I'm saying? During trial, I'm on trial for felony murder, and I ended up getting into a little something in that spot. And supposedly, somebody got hit up 21 times, and supposedly I was involved with that. Wow. So during while I'm on trial, I ended up missing a trial date, and the judge wanted to know why he ain't here. So when he ended up they called up the facility, and they found out that this is why I wasn't there. It just really looked bad upon me while I'm on trial, I'm actually on trial for murder. You understand what I'm saying?
Allegedly, somebody get hit up bad.
Allegedly,
you have something to do with it.
the dude was a serial rapist, man. The dude was a serial rapist. And to be honest with you,
whatever happened, he got what he had coming.
But he got what, you know what I mean? It is what it is. I don't, it is what it is.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. So then they sent me back to Rikers Island again. You know what I mean? I went to C95. Which is a whole different facility, and then I just kept going back and forth to court, and I beat the felony murder, which was the main charge, which would have been.
You eventually got convicted of
manslaughter in the second degree,
and then they decided the stolen car, and then they sentenced you to the time you told us about earlier.
Yes, 7 and a third, 22.
So then you wait to go upstate.
Yes, then I went upstate.
Okay, hold on.